This strategy works well with new vehicles and spectacularly with used vehicles. Why does it work better with used vehicles than new vehicles? Because the biggest part of the depreciation has already taken place. Okay? A used vehicle is going to depreciate at a much slower rate than a new vehicle will. The principle: show your customer the long-term impact of their payment. This strategy is highly effective, helping a customer justify a payment and taking delivery at a higher payment than they anticipated. And almost anybody that comes in here is going to end up with a payment higher than they anticipated. Okay? If you help the prospect pick out the right vehicle, a vehicle they both want and can afford, the payment objection is often a psychological barrier. We're showing customers the highest payments they've ever seen in their entire life. Okay? There could be a psychological barrier, especially when the payment happens to be the highest payment he or she has ever agreed to. This sales strategy provides the prospect a long-term look at the value of the payment. No customer is ever going to think this way, yet the math is correct and the logic sound. This strategy merely reframes the payment for the customer. A great closer provides prospects information they need to close themselves. Okay? Note, you must have your customer on a vehicle they can afford. Tell a great story and do the proper math. It'll help your customer justify the payment. When the customer objects to the payment, this is what you say. Again, I don't want you to memorize this stuff word for word, but I want you to memorize it conceptually and bring it out your own way. Empathize. Lucas, I understand you want a lower payment. Everybody does. It's not a problem. We understand your concern. That's an empathetic response. Isolate. Other than the payment, Corbin, everything else is cool. Nothing else stops you from taking this truck home today, correct? Okay. That stops him from bitching about the trade later on, or the price, or the cash down. Transition. Everybody knows cars and trucks depreciate, but did you know that every car or truck payment helps you build cash value? The actual cost to drive your vehicle will be much less than your monthly payment. Let me show you. So, this is when I start writing. And it's important that you write these things down. Your payment is $947 for 84 months. Okay? I know you don't want to pay it, but that's what it's going to take, which you'll send to the lender. The question is, how much of that payment will go towards building cash value in your vehicle? Draw a picture showing a check going to a lender, which is what I do here. How's my artwork? Yeah, I draw squares and rectangles. Okay? When you make your last payment of $947, what comes back in the mail a couple of weeks later? And I draw a picture of a title, a little square with a F and C on top, free and clear. And I'll write the customer's name on the title. What do you think your vehicle will be worth the day you make your last payment? Now, once in a while, I'll have a customer who will say, I have no earthly idea. That's not my job. I don't know what a car is going to be worth. Then I'll go to I've got the KBB app on my phone, and if the customer's looking at a Tahoe or a Pathfinder, I'll find a 4 or 5 or 6 year old Pathfinder and say, all right, here's what it's worth. Basically, this is what it costs new, so can we use that number? And you'll coach the customer into giving you a decent number. Okay, but usually they're going to give you a number that's higher than it's going to be worth. You may even have to back them down. Okay? Next page. So, that title is worth 20 grand. And if it's an older customer, I'll say, and look, you can trade it, you can sell it, you can borrow against it. It's just like a very expensive share of stock. Okay? Because if you have a share of stock, you can trade it, you can sell it, or you can borrow against it. It can be worth more if you take care of it, less if you trash it and crash it. So I'm shooting the customer completely straight here. I'm not bullshitting them at all. Cash value. As I mentioned, you are building cash value in your vehicle every time with every payment. This is how we calculate it. hand the customer a calculator or have them use their phone. Divide the future value, meaning what it's going to be worth in 7 years, by the term of the loan in months. So in this particular case, we divide 20 grand by 84 and we get 238. This is the part of the payment that is building cash value every month. Then I just subtract that number from the 947 and say, look, you're gonna pay 708 to drive the vehicle. And then I close. I don't say, does that make sense to you? What do you think? If they don't get it, they'll let you know they don't get it. Okay? You know what the number one response to this is I get from when I've done it with real life customers? Do that again. This is a true story.